How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Grand Archive video here on Red Zone Rogue. Today, we have a Rai deck tech that I am calling the Storm Ruler, or Power Overwhelming, or something along those lines. This is a Pantheon deck, and this format has reinvigorated my love of, playing and building decks for Grand Archive, because you can just do so much stuff with it. And for this deck, I wanted to go big into the arcane element with one of my original favorite champions in all of Grand Archive, Rai. I have literally not built a Rai deck since like the first year of Grand Archive. It's kind of wild. This format has actually made me go back and build. I built Lorraine too. I also built Sylvie. A lot of the original characters from Dawn of Ashes I built now in Pantheon, because it's just such a cool and fun thing. So yeah, today's video we have arcane. This is water arcane Rai, and we're running a little bit of spice here as well. So if you like the video, if you'd like me to do more Grand Archive Pantheon content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, let's go ahead and go into our top down and start talking more about our Rai Storm Ruler deck. Let's do it. All right, so here we have the deck in this lovely themed deck box, art by good friend of the channel, Ghoul. If you want to see this deck in action, or at least the first iteration of this deck in action, I actually played this during Dan's or main deck's 24-hour Radiant Origins live stream for the Pantheon gameplay section. So if you'd like to see this in action, check it out there. I have changed the deck quite a bit since then, but you'll see a good showcase of what this deck can do, because I'm pretty sure I did like 27 or 28 damage, or was it 37 or 38 damage in a single turn? It was a lot. I did a lot. This deck has got a lot of panache to it. So let me go ahead and sort this out just a little bit here. I do want to mention the sleeves. So we got the main deck all sleeved up in these Raziel sleeves. That's her name, right? I'm still, yeah, Raziel. I'm still getting all the angels names down. These are Dragon Shield sleeves, and I actually have a promo code with Dragon Shield, Rogue 5. So if you want to buy these from DragonShield.com, you can get 5% off. Just type in Rogue 5 at checkout, you get 5% off. The sleeves outside of these sleeves are the Dragon Shield outer sleeves. So if you'd like to protect the sleeves, then you can also get those from DragonShield.com. Once again, type in Rogue 5. And then the other sleeves that I'm using here, these are actually out of print Grand Archive foil sleeves. They did only a short print run of these sleeves for the original launch of Grand Archive. There's Rai and Lorraine sleeves. And what's interesting about these is, other than the fact, like I said, that they're foil and that they're no longer available, you might be able to find them on the secondary market somewhere. They're not great sleeves unless you double sleeve them. And by that I mean like do an outer sleeve, because they're just kind of like, I don't know, they chip easily, and they're not the best for that. But if you get something like these Dragon Shield, the Dragon Shield outers, well then it still protects them. So there's that. So I wanted to showcase the sleeves. 2 minutes of me talking about the sleeves. That's great content here. All right, so let's talk about our material deck first, as I like to always do. And we're really going to mention the boons at the beginning as well, because they're really important, because, hey, this is Pantheon, and boons are a transformative part of the deck. With this deck, they're less transformative and more multiplicative, additive. So our level 3 champion is Rai Stormseer. This is our goal. This is what we're trying to do. And I'm not going to literally go over every single card. I'm just going to mostly talk about the effects of the card. You can read what he does here. But essentially, what he does is he gives us +1 level for each arcane element mage spell in our banishment. And so essentially we want to banish arcane element mage spells. And so we have a huge level, and then we have a lot of effects that either have efficiency, so they are cost reduction equal to our level, or they do bonus damage equal to our level, or whatever. In fact, this our greater boon is going to really play into that. So We just want to be a really high level and do a lot of big, explosive, electrical damage. Rai level 2 makes it so that every time we activate a mage action on every turn, not just our turn, but our opponent's turns as well, we get an Enlighten counter. And what Enlighten counters do is, well, there are some cards that care about Enlighten counters, but at any time, you can remove Enlighten counters from your champion and draw cards. You can remove 3 Enlighten counters to draw a card, and you can do that, you know, at any time, which is great. But we also have other uses for them as well. And then our level 1 Rai, it's simple, we just get 2 Enlighten counters. The Spirit of Choice, we have this really beautiful Spirit of Serene Water. This is the Kongming CSR version. This is really important because, one, we are running water as our main element, or rather, you know, basic element. And then this one also has Lineage Release to recover 6, because we're probably going to be a target. People are going to beat down on us a lot. So being able to Lineage Release and heal 6 is really good. Just keep in mind we'll lose access to water when we do that. But we're running a ton of arcane cards, so that won't be as big of a deal in the late game. So that is our Lineage. I would like to get some foil Rai 1 and 2s at some point. Oh, another thing you're going to see with this deck, it's like 95% foil. I really like this deck a lot. I think this is my favorite Pantheon deck. I'm sorry, Tristan, but I think this is my favorite Pantheon deck. All right, let's talk about our boons, because the boons are really important. So we are running the Lesser Boon of Shu. I will go over these in depth because boons are really important. So this is class locked. Only mages can use this. And as you gain the boon, you put an Enlighten counter on your champion. And then at the beginning of our end phase, we also get an Enlighten counter. So this is just a way to get constant Enlighten counters on our champion. And that, like I said, that's what we want to do. We can remove 3 at any time to draw a card, but we also have other ways to use them. So gaining levels and gaining Enlighten counters are really important. And we have our big boon, the Greater Boon of Isis. This is a 3-cost Greater Boon. This is class lock to Mage and Cleric, class lock level 2. And it says, spell cards you own on the effect stack have, if this source would deal damage, it deals that much damage plus X instead, where X is your champion's level divided by 3 rounded down. So this is really, really good. So for example, if you are level 3, then this will deal +1. If you are level 6, this will deal +2. If you are level 9, this will deal an additional +3 damage for all of your spells. And that's really good. Like just the +3 damage, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound like a lot. It's actually like a lot. Every time one of our spells deal damage, dealing additional 3 is really good. And if it's an effect that deals multiple instances of damage, then you can do a ton. And we'll talk about that when the time comes. But there's a couple key cards that, like Cone of Frost, for example, you can do a lot of damage. So this is great. And that's kind of what we want to do. We want to burn our opponents, and then we want to draw a lot of cards, have a big level. And once again, it synergizes directly with the Storm Seer here, because we have more level for each of our Arcane Element Mage spell cards in Banishment, and then higher level means higher damage. So, yep, that's great, because we have access to these at all times. We build our deck around these. So let's talk about the rest of the material deck. So a sub-theme of the deck is books, tomes. So we have the Tome of Sacred Lightning. This is a 0 cost. It says element bonus, you can banish a book regalia you control to activate this card from your material deck. If you do, Tome of Sacred Lightning enters the field with all abilities of the banished card, and it enters with those abilities. So the enter effects will trigger as well, which is important because we'll talk about our other tomes. And then we can, as a class bonus, we can use it, and it says banish a card at random from our memory. If a card is banished this way, draw a card. So we can actually set it up that we can banish stuff to get more levels with Rai and draw cards, and this is great. So here we have our other books. We have the Tome of Sorcery. So this one is a 1 cost. On enter, level 2+, you draw a card in your memory, and then we can activate its effect to empower 1. Super relevant, actually. So what empower does is it's the next spell card you activate this turn activates and resolves as if your champion got +1 level. And this can stack. So we can get multiple instances of empower stack, and then multiple instances of other level gains and stack. So we can have like a really, really high level. And so what we can do is when we hit level 3, if we already have the Tome of Sorcery out, which I usually do, this is a pretty early one to get, at least on level 2, we can just free play the sorcery from our material deck. Because it's just, you can banish a book regalia you control to activate this from our material deck, which is just good. You're like, oh, I'm level 3 now. Whoop, get my Sacred Lightning as well. And we get a draw card into memory when we do, because we get the on-enter bonus. Because this enters with all of the effects, including the on-enter bonus. And also includes the Empower as well, which is really good. And we also run another book. We have the Tome of Knowledge. Now, this is a classic. You're going to see a lot of Dawn of Ashes classic cards in this deck. This one's simple. It's just our champion gets +1 level, and we can banish it anytime to draw a card. Yeah, it's just really simple. It's cool. There's probably other things you can run instead of this, but I like this one. And we have ways to get books from our material deck in our main deck as well, which is kind of cool. So those are our 3 tomes, our little tome synergy. We're also just having a regular Grand Crusader's Ring. Yep, just banish it, draw a card. Yep, that's that. That's that. All right, now we have some more boomer cards. We have Endura, Scepter of Ignition. This one is one of the Kickstarter foils. So it's just a 0 cost, and we can use this effect to remove a light counter to deal 1 damage to any unit. We can only do it at slow speed, but hey, at some point in the game, you just start pinging every single turn, because we're getting a ton of enlightened counters. Just start dealing damage, you can kill off things, start chipping away at someone's life. I don't know, I like Endura. I hope they do like an updated version of this for Rai, like they did for Lorraine and Clarent. We need a new Endura. We're also running Arcanist Prism, another Kickstarter foil. This one's cool. It's at the beginning of our recollection phase, put all cards in our memory on the bottom of our deck in any order, and then we draw that many cards. So we can basically just memory down stuff, like pay for cards that, with memory that we don't want, and then we can just kind of like, shuffle through our deck, which is really good. So I think it's cool. It's fun. It's a fun card. And then the last 2 material deck cards are the Eye and the Crystal of Argus. Okay, so let me get into these. The first one, Crystal of Argus, is actually really good for our deck. It costs 1, class bonus. Our champion gets +1 level for every 3 enlightened counters on them. So we can just have a really, really high level naturally with Rai, plus the Crystal of Argus, and all this stuff getting enlightened counters. We can just have like a really high level Rai, just in general. It's like not uncommon to get up to like level 10, 11, 12, something like that, just with this and Storm Ruler, or rather Storm Seer. And then the other one is the Eye of Argus. This one says you can banish it and target ally control gains True Sight, and then you draw a card. That's like super mid. However, the reason we really are running these is some of our secret spice. I don't mind playing out the Crystal. I think the Crystal's good. But saving the Eye for Argus himself is great. So Argus is actually in our main deck. And this is Argus, the all-seeing giant from Radiant Origins. And I got a nice, like I said, most of the deck is foil. It's a 10 cost Exalted Norm Element. So we have to be level 3 in order to play him. He's a 4/10. However, while paying for this card's reserve cost, you can banish 1 or more cards named Crystal of Argus or Eye of Argus from the material deck. Each card banished this way pays for 3 of the cost. So, if we wanted to banish both of these, it would reduce Argus by 6, and he would only cost 4 to play. It costs 4 to have a 4/10, which is kind of good, especially when that 4/10 also has Taunt, True Sight, Vigor, and as long as he's awake, he has Omni Shroud, which basically gives him Shroud from like everything. So having a 4/10 Taunt, True Sight, Vigor is so good. He's really good at protecting our life. His big weakness is board sweepers, right? After if you decide to attack with him, since he doesn't have Omni Shroud because he's not awake, he's vulnerable to get targeted by stuff. But he's just a big taunter that can protect our life. I personally like playing out the Crystal, so we have this bonus effect, and then just banishing the Eye to play a 7-drop Argus. But hey, you know what? If you really want to get him out and you're really getting beat down, you can get rid of them both. And I do like also how the Eye and the Crystal are actually in the art here. So, yes, that's my material deck. I think it's super fun. Very boomery for Grand Archive. Like a lot of old cards, but I like it a lot. And the final 2 cards, we just have our Pantheon Barrier, and then we have our Crowd's Favor token, or status. So just have these in hand. So that's this. I'm going to kind of clean this up just a little bit, and then we'll get to the actual deck. Yeah, this deck is a lot of fun. Okay, so we already talked about Argus. Good way to protect our life. Now let's talk about what I'm gonna call Wombo combo BS. So this is a big part of playing Rai, having these giant, massive, explosive BS turns where you can do a lot of random crap. So one of the original BS cards is Power Overwhelming. It's a 0-cost card. Keep in mind, pay attention. I was going to say both those at once. To a couple things when we look at the rest of the deck. Pay attention to mage, spells, and arcane cards. So if we those are all really important because of Rai, because we care about mage, arcane spells, and banishment, and we also just generally care about mage action cards. So those are both important. Every time we play a mage action card, we get an enlighten counter for the first time each turn, and we can do this on our opponent's turn. So if they're fast speed, we can get them on our opponent's turn. And then we also just want to banish mage element spells. So all of that's really important as we go through these cards. So yes, this is all of them. This is a arcane element mage spell. Remove any number of enlighten counters from our champion. Our champion gets +1 level for each counter removed this way until end of turn. Cost 0. So the idea here is we remove a bunch of enlighten counters, and we're like level 20 or something, and then we just kill everyone. Basically, that's kind of the idea. It's kind of the idea. Because enlighten counters, as I mentioned, you can remove 3 at any time to draw a card, which is really good. So this is a way to cash them in a different way to just win the game. This is you play this card on a turn that you're going to at least take out one player. Similarly, we have Rai's Ultimate, Arcane Renunciation. This is a card that I want to get the CSR for. So it's a 12 cost, but it says, banish all cards in your hand and memory. Then return all non-champion, non-regalia, arcane element cards from your graveyard and banishment to your hand, and then you empower 10. So it does kind of like shrink Rai from this, but we get them all back to our hand, and we empower 10. So remember, when we empower, the next time we play a spell, we treat that spell as though our champion had +10 levels. So that's pretty good. And then it has Rai bonus. At the end of turn, whenever we activate a spell, empower 10. So basically empower 10 for everything. And what this does is it's a way to get all of our arcane element stuff back. We get it back from our graveyard and banishment, and then we just kind of go off. So this is our big finisher. It does cost 12 to play, though. But hey, we have a lot of ways to draw a bunch of cards, so 12 is not completely unheard of. Next, we have one that works really well with Arcane Renunciation. So this is Ionized Asceticism. This is a 15 cost, but it has efficiency, which means its cost is reduced by our level. So if we have a really high level from something like Power Overwhelming or Rise Effect here, this could be, pretty cheap up to free. It says banish all cards from our hand and memory, then draw 7 cards. Until the beginning of our next turn, our champion gets -10 level. That actually works really well with the Renunciation, because we get the Empower 10 whenever we play a card. This one's also just pretty good for just setting up for future turns, right? Because it just says banish all cards from your hand and memory, then draw 7 cards. So you just refill your hand. But presumably you'll banish a bunch of cards that will get, then get an effect with our Rai Stormseer, and then maybe in a future turn we can play Arcane Renunciation, get them all back, and then go off even more. So yeah, this is pretty sweet, and it works really well with all the Wombo combo that we're doing. We also have this stabilized Capicitance. We have Stabilizing Lightning. It's a 1-cost mage action mage spell, slow. Put any number of cards from your memory on the bottom of our deck in any order. Draw that many cards into our memory, and then class bonus level 7 plus draw card. So this is another kind of just a Wombo combo card to help move cards around so we can get all the stuff that we need to kind of like combo off and win the game. And then a classic BS card. I do have a foil of this on the way. It's just taking forever to show up. It's a 0-cost slow. This is Reckless Conversion. It says draw 2 cards into your memory, then banish 4 cards at random from it. Then you return all cards from our memory to our hand. So this is like the last thing we do. We play a whole bunch of cards down, have a huge, huge memory, and then the final thing we do is Reckless Conversion to draw 2 more into the memory, then we banish 4, and then we get all the cards back to continue going off and doing like a massive, huge turn. So this is great. And it's one that you want to do at the end of a really big chain of things. This deck is for people who like playing a lot of semi-complicated spells in a turn, and then, you know, balancing your champion's level with Empower and just spells and stuff. For me, it's extremely fun. It's in-depth and kind of complicated, but it's very, very fun in my opinion. Those are our big like Wombo cards. And now let's talk about, you know what, we're doing some Wombo stuff. We got some high levels. Let's talk about how we actually kill our opponent. And we have a few ways to do that. Here's some of the big ways. So we have Arcane Blast, classic. Deal 11 damage to a champion. It has efficiency, so its cost is reduced by our level. It costs 11, but you're not going to pay 11 for this. You're going to pay like, you know, a couple at most, and then dome someone for 11. Well, probably a lot more than 11 from our Greater Boon. Obviously, once again, Mage Spell, Arcane, important. Erratic Bolt, another huge damage dealer. This is basically like the Arcane Fireball. It's a 4-cost slow speed. It deals level damage to target units. So whatever our level is, we deal that much damage plus whatever from our boon. And then class bonus, we can banish 2 cards at random from our memory. If we do, draw 2 cards. It's also really good. We also banish cards to then also increase our level. And then we get to draw cards to replace it. Erratic Bolt is extremely good. Next up, we have another one of our huge, huge finishers, Advent of the Stormcaller. This is a 15-cost mage spell, arcane mage spell. It's efficiency, so this is cost reduced by our level, so we're not paying 15 for this. Then reveal the top level cards of our deck. So that means whatever our level is, that's how many of the cards we reveal. You may banish any amount of arcane element cards from among them. For each card banished this way, choose a unit, could be a player, it's gonna be a player, and deal 2 damage to it. Put the rest of the cards revealed on top or bottom of your deck in any order. So the idea here is we get to a huge, huge level. Either just with Rai in combination with our the Argus piece, or with Power Overwhelming. Either way, we're gonna be level like 15 or more. Then we're just going to keep flipping over cards, and we want to hit a bunch of our arcane element cards. And then for every one that we do and we choose to banish, we deal 2 damage to a unit. However, with the Greater Boon of Isis, it will deal 2 damage. Oh, that's the shoe. It'll deal 2 damage plus a third of our level. Now, if our level is 15, that's going to be 5 damage. So if our level is 15 and we play Advent of the Stormcaller for free, every single one of the arcane element cards that we reveal is going to deal 7 damage. It'll deal 5 from the being 1/3 of 15 is 5, and then we have the additional 2. So every single time it'll deal 7 damage. Yeah, people are gonna die when you play this card. The only tricky thing is keeping track of the number of arcane element cards you already have banished and what you might have left in your deck. So that's like the trickiest part. But even if you get a couple, right? Even if you get 3, 21 damage, right? That's pretty good. But if you get more, if you get like 6 or something, you're taking everyone out. Very good. Also very good, we have Fulminating Storm. This is a new one from Radiant Origins. It's a 3-cost mage spell, arcane. Remove up to 9 enlightened counters from our champion. Deal X damage to each champion you don't control, where X is the number of counters removed this way. So, once again, we want like 9 enlightened counters, play this 9 to everyone else. Except it'll be more than that because we have the boon. So it'll, once again, if we're like, in a low case scenario, if we're level 9, we'll deal 9 damage from this, plus an additional 3 because of our boon. So 11 damage to the board, seems pretty good, or 11 damage to each player, it's pretty good, so 33 damage is pretty good. And then class bonus, for every 3 light encounters removed this way, draw a card. So we still get the benefit of removing the light encounters to draw cards. So we'll draw 3 cards and then dome everyone. Extremely good. You can see why I love this deck. All right, so we have another one. This is, once again, this is the Harbinger of Lightning. This is the art that's on the deck box by my buddy Gule. It's a 2-cost, 2/2. As long as you control an arcane element. Oh, this doesn't matter. The top doesn't matter. This is for the Shenju part. This is a ally. It's an arcane element, mage, tamer, human. We only care about the mage part. So the first part doesn't really matter because we don't care about Shenju. What does matter is the second part, the class bonus. On death, banish Harbinger of Lightning and a card at random from our memory. When we do, as a spell, deal X damage to target champion, where X is the total reserve cost of the banished cards. So this will have a reserve cost of 2, and then we banish something else at random. So you can actually set it up, not that hard, to banish, I don't know, something like the Advent of the Stormcaller, which has a cost of 15. So this is a really cheap way to just dome someone for 17 damage base. And you do it as a spell. So, yes, very good. Very, very good. You can also just, hit him for something else. But we have another 15. We have Ionized here for another 15. We have 12 for the Arcane Renunciation. We have 11 for Arcane Blast. So we have a lot of high-cost cards. Where's Argus? We have Argus for 10. So we can just kill someone with this card, too, pretty early. So, yeah, good stuff. We also have Cone of Frost. This card is cracked with the boon, the Greater Boon of Ices. So it's a 3-cost. It's super simple. It's a water mage spell, class bonus. It costs 1 less to activate, so great. It costs 2 for us. Okay, level 1, deal 2 damage to up to 1 target unit. Level 3, deal 2 damage to up to 1 target unit. Level 5, deal 2 damage to up to 1 target unit. So this is 3 separate instances of 2 damage, and you can probably see where I'm going here. The Greater Boon. We'll count each of those separately. So once again, if you are level 9, it will deal an additional 3 damage. So that means this will deal 5 damage, 5 damage, and 5 damage. So you can deal 15 damage for 2 cost. Pretty easily with this deck. Like getting up to level 9 with Rai, not that bad. Like not that hard at all. So yes, extremely good. And if we can get higher level, we can even do more damage with the boon. So Cone of Frost, another great finisher. Shattering Discharge, not really as much as a finisher. It's just kind of like a game player. But this only hits champions, so I'm including it in our big damage dealing section. So it's just a Shattering Discharge. It's just a 1-cost mage spell reaction. It is an action. It's arcane. It's fast. You may activate this card from our banishment as long as there's a charge counter from it, which is cool. And it says class bonus, whenever this card is banished from the memory, put a charge counter on. So this is a great one to banish. It only has class bonus for that, so you can only do that when we're a mage, so be careful not to do this on like turn 1 when you're still a spirit. But it says its regular effect is just deal 2 unpreventable damage to a champion, and then you banish this. So 1, it kind of banishes itself for Rai. 2, if we banish it for another reason, we can play it, and then it banishes itself. And it's just solid, and it's unpreventable, so we can just like kill someone with it. So good. The last 2 are kind of recursive. Well, let's talk about Frost Shard first. So Frost Shard is another mage spell. This one's water. Class bonus, as long as our champion is leveled up this turn, you can activate this card from our graveyard. If you do, banish it as it resolves. So this is great. So we play this early, and then when we level up into like Rai 3, for example, we can play it again, which is great. And it just says deal 2 damage to a unit. If the unit is rested, deal 3 damage. Once again, it doesn't seem very high, but you got to factor in the Greater Boon, so this can deal up to 5, 6 damage, something like that, or even higher. So yeah, it's just a nice little recursive one that we can play multiple times. The big one is the Nascent Blast. It's kind of unassuming, but it's really, really good in our deck. So it's a 3-cost, fast, mage, cleric spell. And it says deal 3 damage to any unit. If it is empowered, you put it in your memory. So this is really, really good with repeatable empower effects. So something like the Tome of Sorcery, we want to empower the Nascent Blast. So we can just keep getting it back into our memory and then playing it, and every time we play it, for the first time we get an light encounter, and then we can just keep getting it back. Like, you can kind of see where this goes. This is one of our consistent sources of damage. And, since it is a spell that's dealing damage, we get the bonus from our boon. So yeah, this is really good. And if we have multiple sources of empower, we can get this back and like do it on our turn, get the counter. It's fast speed. If we have a way to get it back to our hand, we can do it on our opponent's turn. Get the counter. Like it's just solid. It's very good. So yes, these are kind of like our big damage dealing suite of cards. Now let's talk about some more stuff. I'll try to be a little quicker. So I've kind of like sorted these by general effects. So we have a bunch of empower stuff here. So this is Fractal Mana. It's a fractal. has reservable, and then we can empower. Once again, empowering is good for stuff like Nascent Blast, but also just powering up our stuff in general. We also have Mnemonic Charm. Johnny Mnemonic Charm. This is just an easy one. When it enters, we draw a card in our memory, and we can sack it to empower 2. Once again, that's great for all the empower stuff. And then we have this Harness Lightning that you can ignore the top part because we're not doing Shenju ally stuff because we're not a tamer. But it does say empower 4 and then you banish this. Or target ally gets +4 attack until end of turn, then you banish this. It's great. It's a action mage tamer skill slow. Keep in mind it is a skill and not a spell. So it will not count for the Rai, but still, it does count as a mage action. But yeah, it empowers 4 and it banishes itself. Cool. Good job. That's exactly what we want to do. Empowering 4 is great and getting like a lot of this stuff off. All right, let's talk about ways to protect ourselves because we are a very squishy threat. People see us and they're like, kill the mage. All right, well, let's talk about how we can like not die. First up, I want to talk about Morgan Soul Guide. This is another one that I maybe I want to get a CSR of this eventually. She's insanely good in Pantheon and like really good in our deck in particular. So she's a 1/3 that prevents all non-attack damage that would be dealt to her. So any like board sweepers or whatever, she's pretty safe from those. The second part is extremely important. The level 2+, your opponents can't recover. And so one of the big weaknesses of this deck is having your opponent just heal a bunch. But yeah, just being able just to not have them not heal and just kill them with our spells is really good. And then we have a class bonus, so we are the bonus. At the beginning of our recollection phase, we can glimpse one if we don't recover one. So it's great, we can set up our draw or heal. Morgan is very, very good. Let's go ahead and just make a pile here. We have our spell shields. We have our shields. We have Water Barrier and Spell Shield Arcane. This one's great. It says the next time we would take damage, prevent the damage, and we get a number of enlightened counters equal to the damage prevented. Obviously, that's insane because we really care about enlightened counters, and it prevents the damage. Class bonus costs 1 less, so it only costs 2, and it is a mage spell reaction. So this one is a spell, so it counts for all of our stuff. It's arcane. It's really good. We're also running the Water Barrier. This one actually has floating memory. We have a couple cards with floating memory, but not a ton in the deck. So class bonus floating memory. It costs 3, and it's just the next time we would be able to damage, prevent all but one of that. So if our opponent's coming with a really big single attack, we got the Water Barrier, hopefully. Next up, we have Blanche. Every single Pantheon deck should be running this. She just prevents damage to all of our other units equal to non-combat damage equal to the number of cards in our memory. So it's really good at preventing other, spell damage-based stuff. So she's just really, really good. And she also has fast activation, which is nice. I'm running another classic, the Barrier Servant. This is a 2/2 with Intercept, and we can remove 2 Enlightened counters from our champion, and the next time damage will be dealt to Barrier Servant this turn, you prevent that damage, and she has Intercept. So the idea is, with a bunch of Enlightened counters, we can like block a whole bunch of stuff and then prevent all the damage to her, so she's kind of like a big shield for us. We're also running Coronation Ceremony. This is just a way to give a Spell Shroud. It will cost 2 less if it targets a unique ally. We're running a lot of unique allies, so if you really want to save one of our dudes in particular, that's good. But usually want to give the Spell Shroud to Rai, so he doesn't die from whatever effect that our opponent is doing. And then we have our two of our crowd's favor cards. Shared Fervor is just really good. Everyone draws a card in the memory, and then we get the Crowd's Fervor status. And I didn't really talk about it all that much, but Crowd's Fervor is just really nasty because it makes it so that anytime our opponent attacks us, it costs 1 more, and anytime they want to target us or anything we control, it costs 1 more. So it just taxes our opponent quite a bit. So yeah, this one's just really good. And then we also have the Samaritan's Reach. This one deals 3 damage to an attacking ally we don't control. And if the ally is attacking a unit we don't control, we get Crowd's Favor. So if someone else is attacking something else, we get to blast it for 3, and then we get the Crowd's Favor, which is really nice. And it will only cost us 2. And it's a spell. It's a mage spell, so we actually get the Enlightened counter as well. Next up, we have a bunch of our negation effects, a bunch of counter magic. Okay, we're playing like a blue counter burn deck. So this is Frostbind, staple in Grand Archive. Negate something unless the controller pays 2, and if it is, it's banished. Yep, that's really solid. Here, we're going to pile this up again. We have Incapacitate. We don't have the class bonus on this to make it reduced by 2, but it's still a 4 cost negate any action card. Yep, really good. Negate your opponent's big stuff that's gonna ruin your day. We have Engulf, which is it's a 6 cost, but not really. Its cost is 3 less if we are level 2+, and we're all about being high level, so this is easy to be level 2+. So there's actually a 3 cost, negate any non-attack card activation, including like allies and anything. Just any non-attack card activation, negate it. Very nice. We also have Imperial Accord. This is water, but it's also exalted, so we need to be level 3 for this one. But it just says negate target advanced element card activation unless its controller pays 6, and then you banish the card. Yeah, 6 is a lot, so this basically just negates any advanced thing. And we're playing Pantheon, there's a lot of that. One of the few non-foils in the deck. Also non-foil is Cerulean Decree. It does cancel, but it does a lot of other stuff. So it's a 3 cost, imbue 3, and if it's imbued, you choose 2 of the effects instead of just 1. It is a cleric spell of note. Some of these are, not all these are mage spells, by the way. Like I said, pay attention to these. So you have cleric spell here. This one's a cleric spell, assassin, cleric, but this one is mage. So like, pay attention to what the actual types are regarding whether we get an enlightened counter. But what this does is we get to negate up to 1 target non-attack card activation unless the control pays 2, or we can give a unit -3 attacks for the whole turn. Really good against a player who has a champion that wants to attack multiple times, or we just got to draw a card into memory. Yeah, there's a reason this card's like expensive. It's a nice one. All right, let's talk about our anti-ally suite of stuff. So we have a bunch of anti-ally cards, starting with Lunette, the Frostbinder Priest. It just makes all allies or opponents control enter rested. And if we are balanced, so we have equal cards in hand and memory, she gets an additional 3 health. So yeah, just a nice little way to slow our opponents down so we don't get beat to death. We have Frost Nova. It's an 8 cost efficiency. This is a mage spell with efficiency, which is really good. So this could cost 0 for us. And then it just says, deal 1 damage to all allies and rest them, includes our own. Those allies don't wake up during their controller's next wake up. So you just basically freeze everything down. And keep in mind, since this is a spell, we will get the bonus from our greater boon. So we can actually deal like, and you know, once again, if we're getting the +3 for level 9, 4 damage to everything, this is really good. It's really good. Speaking of 4 damage to everything, we have Anger of the Skies. This is a 3 cost that basically deals 4 damage to all allies, which is really good. Doesn't hit players, but it just hits allies, but still really good. And once again, if we are level 9, this would hit everything for 7. You can see how this can get out of control. So this is a nice board sweeper for us. We also have Freezing Hail with this is the collaboration with Nova, and this foil collaboration last time I looked was like $200. It's insane. Anyway, this is a 2 cost that just deals 2 damage to any unit. So we can actually hit allies, or we can hit champions with this, but that unit doesn't wake up during its controller's next wake up phase, which is really nice. We can keep it down. Once again, also really good hitting opponents' champions who want to attack a lot. We're also running Song of Frost. We don't care about the class bonus, but it just says if a unit is attacking, end the combat phase. Great. Once again, stuff like this, mage spell. This one's not, this is Tamer. Then we also have Eminent Lethargy. This is a cleric one. This also costs 2, but this one is exalted. And it just says until end of turn, players can't declare attacks unless they pay 2 for each attack declaration. If a unit is attacking, end the combat. So it's very similar to Song of Frost, but a little bit better because it's advanced or exalted. So also very good. We also have Yuan Shao, Crown General. It's another one I want a CSR for. This is just let's steal our opponent's unique allies. It gives all unique allies our opponents control Pride 2, so they have to at least be level 2 to attack. But also, at level 3+ for us, for a cost of 3, as a spell we can steal any of our opponent's unique allies, but only if there are 3 or more unique allies on the field we don't control, which happens a lot in Pantheon, so great way to just steal our opponent's stuff. It's like permanent too. We also have Arcane, or Voltaic Sphere. This is a mage spell, but this one only hits, well, that's not true. It can hit, it can hit units, or it can hit allies as well. So it's a 2 cost that deals 3 damage to any unit, but if it's an ally, it deals 5 damage. So it's just, better at killing allies, like really big allies. But we can still dome our opponent if we need to. It also has class bonus. We can banish it from the graveyard, and the next arcane element spell card we activate costs 1 less. So we get the banishment, we get the level up from Rai, because this is an arcane element mage spell, and then we get our cost reduction too. This card is insanely good. We also have Shock Therapy. This is a 2-cost class bonus, element bonus. Whenever this card is banished from our memory, put in light encounter our champion. Excellent. So we want to banish this when we're arcane. And it says deal an amount of damage to target ally equal to the number of our enlightened counters. So once again, we want a bunch of enlightened counters, so we can just dome an ally with this. So very good. Speaking of doming allies, we have Unstable Voltage. This card's super cool. It's just a 2-cost. It's a fast arcane mage spell, and then you roll 2 d6s and you deal that much damage to an ally. But once again, you know, as with everything, we have our greater boon, so it'll deal even more than that. It says deal d6 plus d6 damage to an ally. Very, very nice. And then finally, for the ally control, we have Genuflecting Execution. It's a 7-cost, except it has mage bonus efficiency, so not going to cost 7. And it just says destroy up to 2 target rested allies. It's a mage spell. It is exalted though. But yeah, just blow up 2 dudes. Very good. Nice little actual like 2-for-1 there. So that's that. Let's move on to some. I think there's just enlightened counter synergy stuff. So we have Zhao Yu Enlightened Sage. It's a 3-cost 1/3 class bonus. On enter, materialize a book or scripture from our material deck. We have to still pay the cost. But this is a great way to just get an extra book. And this is why I'm running so many books, right? So this is a way we can get one of these books. You know, if we say we already got the Tome of Sorcery, for example, and we drew into Zhao Yu, we can get our Tome of Knowledge as well, which is pretty cool. And then also class bonus at the end of, or at the beginning of our recollection phase, if we control a book or scripture, we put an enlightened counter on our champion. So we can get multiple enlightened counters a turn just passively if we have this, as well as our lesser boon. So yeah, he's cool. Give us a lot of enlightened counters. Speaking of which, we have a classic. By the way, I do have a foil. I do have a foil of this guy on the way as well. Like I said, most of the deck is foil, or will be all foil at some point. So we have Peer into Mana. So this is a 4-cost. You put 2 plus your level enlightened counters on your champion. So yeah, this is a way that we can get an absolutely insane amount of enlightened counters, especially late game when we have a really high level. This card's great. Really good. We also have a new card, Otherworldly Possessions. It's a 5-cost. For each different reserve cost among objects we control and cards in our graveyard, put an enlightened counter on a champion. So you have to, you know, look at all of the objects we control. So like this and maybe some of our other allies. And then you have to go look at all the cards in your graveyard. And for all the different costs of everything, you get an enlightened counter. So you can actually get quite a bit with this. If you can get like 5 or 6, I think that's really, really solid. And then speaking of which, speaking of 5, we have Careful Study. We have Old Man Gandalf here. It's an 8-cost, but it has efficiency. And we just put 5 enlightened counters on our champion. And this is also a mage skill, so yeah, we get like 6 just with this one card. Once again, this is also mage. This is also mage. If I didn't mention that it's mage, you should just look to see, because most of the stuff is like mage skills. And then we have a bunch of what I'm just going to call... Let's do these ones first, because these are all card advantage. And then these last couple cards are just like leveling up, basically. So we have the new Discover the Divine. This is just a 3-cost. You can remove 4 enlightened counters on a champion, and we just level it up. We don't have to pay the cost. We just level up. So this is a great way to level up into 2 or 3 without having to waste the materialization phase. And we just use 4 enlightened counters. So yeah, really solid. And then we're running Dungeon Guide. Yes, run Dungeon Guide in all your decks for that extra level up. And then we have Heavenly Guide, because everyone is running Dungeon Guides in all their decks. We can get that extra level up because we can only level up if an opponent has a champion that wasn't played. So if it was leveled up through something like Dungeon Guide or like Discover the Divine. So yeah, these are our free level ups. And then we have the rest of the deck is our like draw cards, card advantage stuff. So first up we have Pendant of Accrual. Yes, I went and got a foil one of these because I think this is a must-have staple for Grand Archive Pantheon. This card's insane. Whoever has this out ends up winning the game for the usually, not all the time. But man, this card can draw you so many cards. It's just at the beginning of each opponent's Reco phase, they can pay 2, and if they don't, you get a debt counter on this, and then you can remove 2 debt counters and then draw a card into your memory. So yeah, if they don't pay this, you can just start drawing a ton of cards. We have Raziel, Archangel of Libra. This one's really interesting and really cool, and I would love to get a foil one of these someday. You know, they're currently like several $100s though. On enter, if she's imbued, and she is imbued Arcane or Astra, So obviously Arcane for us. If she's imbued, banish 2 cards at random from our memory. If we do, glimpse 3, then put the top 2 cards of our deck into the memory. So it banishes and also replaces it as well. So we can do this early. Hopefully, you know, put 3 Astra cards, banish 2 of the Astra cards. Arcane cards, I'm sorry. Did I say Astra before? Arcane, obviously. So we banish 2 of the Arcane cards. You will hopefully count for Rai, and then we get to draw 2 cards to replace them. Yeah, it's insanely good. She's cracked in the deck. We're also running Angelic Channeling, obviously, because we have the Raziel and the Raziel sleeves. We got to have the Angelic Channeling for Raziel. If you play competitive Grand Archive, you know this card. It's good. It's insane in Rai. So it's a 2 cost. It's mage. It's a mage spell. It's fast. Banish up to 3 advanced element cards from our hand and or memory. Draw a card in our memory for each card banished this way. So that is insanely good. We get to choose what we banish, and then we replace them. Obviously insanely good for Rai. The next time our champion levels up into a champion card with base level 3 this game, put the banished cards on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So we banish them. Hopefully get them to count for Rai if we're already level 3. But if we're not level 3, then we can just banish something else and then we get them back when we level up, so we can then play and do more stuff. Yeah, obviously this card's like cracked. Next up we have Naya. She's not as cracked, but she's very pretty, and I would like to CSR of her eventually as well. So she's a 3 cost 2/2 ally, and then she's a mage, a class bonus. So on enter, we reveal the top 3 cards of our deck. We banish one of those and put the rest into the graveyard. If the banished card is a spell, we can activate it as long as we control Naya, which is great. So we banish a card. It'll count for Rai, hopefully, if it's a arcane element mage spell. And we can also play it later if we control Naya. So great, good synergy with the deck. Next up, we have one of my classic favorites, Mage's Disciple. She's just a 1/1 that gives our champion 1 level, and then when she dies, we draw a card. Sure, I love it. Also, it gives me a reason to play foil Mage's Disciple, one of my early favorite cards. Similarly, we have Library Witch. She's just a 0/1 with intercept, and when she dies, we draw a card. Great, protects us, draws us a card. This one is the first edition one too. We also have Arcane Disposition. This card is very good. It's a 3-drop. We draw 2 cards. Well, we draw 3 cards. It's draw 2, but class bonus, draw another card. So we draw 3 cards, and then at the beginning of our end phase, we have to discard our hand. The idea is you just play everything. You play a whole hand down. Yes, very good. We have Arcane Sight. Gain a level. Champion gets +1 level until end of turn. Draw a card for the cost of 0. Great. Great. Next, we have Surging Search. So we have a new keyword here with Scavenge. So it costs 2, has floating memory, class bonus. Scavenge 6 for an arcane element card. So that means to scavenge, reveal cards from the top of our deck until we reveal that number of cards, or until we reveal the specified card. So for an arcane element card. So basically, you just got to look at the top 3 until we, reveal cards from the top of the deck until we get an arcane element card. So this is a nice way to get an arcane card. Same with this one. We have the Stormblade Squire. It's a 2-cost, 2/4 arcane element ally, and it said on attack we can banish a card at random from our memory. If we do, scavenge 2 plus X for an arcane element card, but X is the reserve cost of the banished card. So 1, we get banished synergy, and then it replaces itself hopefully with another arcane card. And the final card here is Auravolt Current. It's a 2-cost, slow speed cleric spell, unfortunately not mage. You can activate this card from your banishment as long as there's a charge counter on it. Whenever this card is banished from memory, put a charge counter on it. So great. We just want to banish this and get, banish this at some point so we get a charge counter, we can play it later. Any amount of target players banishes 2 cards from their memory. For each card banished this way, its owner draws a card into the memory, banish this card. So this is a great way to banish more stuff from our memory, and then the cards replace themselves. It's just a nice little value engine. And that's the deck, right? We have all these cool ways to draw cards, to control the board, to counter things, to kill our opponent's stuff, all the while building up our level and our enlightened counters until we can do these cards, and just kill our opponent. We have a decent way of doing this, a decent way of getting some of the stuff back with like Arcane Renunciation, and then we can just try to win the game. Like I said, getting stuff like this is really good, so it's like recursive damage we can keep playing turn after turn. And then you have your big finishers like Power Overwhelming, Arcane Blast, Erratic Bolt, Stormcaller is a really big one. Harbinger can be nuts if you hit the right card. And then obviously fulminating is like really efficient damage. So yeah, that is my Rai Storm Ruler deck. Please let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I really didn't want to get super deep into it, but I realized I was like just yapping a lot. This deck is super fun. It's my favorite deck to play in Pantheon right now. I have 3 other Pantheon decks fully constructed, built out. I have a Fire Assassin Lorraine. I have Slime Sylvie, and then I have my updated Tristan Shadow Clone deck. Let me know which ones of those you'd like to see next. I'm probably gonna do Lorraine next. I think Lorraine and Rai are kind of you know, classic champions. So I think having them featured as some of the first like official Pantheon decks post Radiant Origins makes a lot of sense. But let me know which ones you'd like to see most. And at some point, I will fully foil. I think there's like maybe 12 cards in this deck that aren't foiled. Someday I'll get my CSRs and finish foiling this out because yeah, I really enjoy this deck. And I technically do have a foil GCR. It's just in a slab, so I want to crack the slab and put it in this deck. It's not a first edition. It's just an altar, but still, I'm gonna crack it and put it in here so my entire material deck can be foil. I still need to get the foil Rise though. Those elude me. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And we'll see you later.